Thank you for joining us for WQAD News 8 at 6:30. I'm Jillian Mangan. So the real question, can I start putting flowers outside in pots this weekend?
No.
Okay. It's been another historic week for women in sports. So make sure if you're heading out here, you're going to be the best dressed. Josh, I know that that's not even a question for you. Thank you for joining us for WQAD News 8 at 6:30. I'm Jillian Mayen. We start with the war in Ukraine tonight as the Kremlin continues to say the graphic images out of a liberated city are staged. This case has been in the public spotlight for nearly 2 years now, when Brieja's mom first reported her missing in July of 2020. We are following breaking news out of Montezuma, Iowa, where investigators say they've found a body that appears to be that of a child. The body was found by a farmer in a field around 2 this afternoon. Cotter and her attorney confirmed for us today that they will be pursuing all legal avenues to overturn Tuesday's termination vote.
And now a News 8 exclusive. Tonight we're hearing for the first time from a Rock Falls mother whose 2 young children were found dead at their dad's house in Nebraska last month. And News 8's Jillian Mann sat down with the mom to find out just what happened. Jillian?
Yeah, Mary Nielsen moved back in with her parents in her hometown of Rock Falls in November to finish nursing school and spend more time with her kids, Emily and Teddy. After spending years in what she says was an abusive marriage with their father, she says she just wanted to be happy and for her kids to be happy.
Emmy was exceptionally smart. She just had turned 5 in January, and you wouldn't have known it. Teddy was just so sweet and loving. He was a mama's boy, you know, and he'd always, I want mommy snuggles, or me sleep with mommy tonight. They had a bond, like a special bond. Like they were very, very close, and you could tell they were best friends. It just cracked me up.
Like most parents, Mary Nielsen's kids were her whole world.
My kids are the only reason why I survived that relationship. I mean, I was very suicidal for a very long time during the relationship. Abusive relationships, like, destroy you.
But 3 weeks ago, her world was shattered.
And then Saturday rolls around, and I was like, it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I was like, the kids haven't called yet. And then I was like, they didn't call last night either.
3-year-old Teddy and 5-year-old Emmy were spending the week with their dad in Nebraska. As part of the custody agreement, the kids were required to check in with their mom every day when visiting their dad. When Mary didn't hear from them for 2 days, she panicked.
So I started calling him and blowing up his phone and texting him. I'm like, even if you can't talk, like, I need to know the kids are safe.
Mary posted to Facebook, desperate for information. Police went to the house twice for welfare checks, but had no cause to force entry.
I had a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach, and then one of my friends messaged me on Facebook and said, do you want me to go over to the house and check? When she got there, the door was unlocked, and she went in, and that's when she found the kids.
Teddy and Emmy were found in their beds unresponsive. Their dad, gone.
I had to pull over. I was bawling. I mean, the only reason why I'm sure I kept myself alive is I couldn't bear the thought of leaving them alone with him. And it was hard.
Their father was arrested hours later in California and charged with felony child abuse resulting in death. Police say they are investigating Emily and Teddy's deaths as homicide, and additional charges against Price are possible. But for Mary, it's all too little, too late.
If someone had just listened to me when I said he was an unfit parent, they'd still be here. It's still really hard. The only thing that makes me feel like a tiny bit better is they don't ever have to see him again, but at the same time, I'm missing them so much.
Now, I spoke with the county coroner's office in Nebraska, who says the autopsy and toxicology results are still pending, and they may not be back for another month. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions here for this grieving family, Jim.
It may or may not be surprising to hear that the average American retires at 64 years old.
But News 8's Jillian Mann introduces us to a Putman man who, quite literally, blows that stat out of the water. It's a story of hard work and determination.
Let's begin.
Water
Get warmed up.
has many states. If you're a member at Lake Thunderbird,
All right, let's put our right arm in the gutter.
water can be a workout,
Heel and toe.
And I've lost 15 pounds.
Swing your leg
or support.
There's a lot of widows out here and widowers, and we help each other.
backwards.
For Vern Jacobs,
1.
the water
It's invigorating to me, and I know it's actually very good because of the exercise.
All right, let's put our arms out and shake them out.
Vern has been at the helm
9.
of Lake Thunderbird Water Aerobics for 20 years.
And now the front lunge.
But he's here every day.
He comes 6 days a week.
We got a race going on.
But his fondness for floating
Keep going.
started long before his days in the pool.
As a kid, I learned to swim in a creek.
Oh, he loves the water. He's always loved the water. He was a lifeguard when he was, young.
Keep going.
Young enough to remember
And he remembers everything so well. It's remarkable.
a less buoyant
Yes.
time.
26, I was born. Yeah, during the Depression.
No, I didn't know he was 94.
I'm going to be 95.
A meaningless number
Isn't he amazing?
when Vern is afloat,
Yeah, he's amazing.
but a number that grounds him
Hey, come on up, Dad.
when he walks ashore.
I stay in the chair most of the time when I'm here because it's easier for my daughter to just wheel me in and out.
He's done that for 3 years now, and only because he has that spinal stenosis, which does something to the muscles in his legs. So his legs, don't want to work sometimes.
8.
Restricted on land,
Okay, dance time.
but free in the water.
Yeah, a lot of freedom in the water.
Come on, dog, let me see you dance.
After all,
Way
water
to go.
can also be fun.
Thank you, Vern.
In Putnam, Jillian Mayen, WQAD
You're
News 8.
welcome.
We are following breaking news out of Montezuma, Iowa, where investigators say they've found a body that appears to be that of a child. The body was found by a farmer in a field around 2 this afternoon. Now, this is an area that's close to where 11-year-old Xavier Harrelson went missing in late May. Police say the clothes with the remains are consistent with what they were told Xavier was wearing when he went missing. Investigators say they cannot confirm that this is the body of Xavier until the medical examiner completes their report. However, police have already reached out to the Harrelson family.
My detective talked to Sarah Harrelson, and naturally she was upset. So she was crying. So
as well as his father and grandparents,
Grandparents.
So yeah, and again, they don't have any more information.
Now, once again, at this time, police are not confirming that this is the body of Xavier Harrelson. However, they are saying that the information that they have right now is consistent with what they knew about Xavier when he went missing back in late May. And of course, we'll continue to follow this breaking story for you as we get new information, both here on News 8 at 10 as well as on WQAD.com. Thank you for joining us for WQAD News 8 at 6:30. I'm Jillian Mayen. After 35 days on strike, members of the United Auto Workers Union could be back to work by tomorrow. As we come on the air tonight, we are starting to get early results for tonight's vote on the latest tentative agreement. Workers are reporting a majority yes vote at several local locations, with a third being added just minutes ago. News 8's Shelby Kluver is live for us tonight in East Moline. And Shelby, what have we learned about these 3 facilities?
Well, we're hearing that workers at Davenport Works, Harvester Works, and the Parts Distribution Center are expected to wrap up in about 30 minutes. And the final vote results we expect to have just shortly after that. Jillian?
All right, Shelby Kluver reporting live in East Moline for us tonight. Thank you so much, Shelby. And once again, Waterloo was one of those facilities that, as Shelby said, was leaning very heavily towards no in the last vote. So eagerly waiting to hear those numbers. If members do vote to approve this latest offer, they have told News 8 the first shift expected to return to work will begin around 7 a.m. tomorrow. Other employees are saying that salaried workers have already been told by Deere & Company not to come in for the overnight shift. Now, once again, that is not confirmed by the company at this time. Well, it's been another historic week for women in sports right here in Iowa. A first at the IHSAA state soccer tournament. 4 women took the field as the officials for the 1A state title game. Jennifer Dunn, Millie Phillips, Sarah Curry, and Kelly Dunbar are 4 of the 380 referees in the state. Just 40 of those 380 are women. It was history for the IHSAA and a moment not lost on the all-female crew.
Pretty cool that I'm doing this with these 3 ladies as well. We're moms, and being able to show the world that we can do something like this and create history for the future generations to referee, not only in soccer but other sports as well.
Now, there are nearly 400 soccer referees, as we just told you, so that's only about 12% of those referees that are female. Well, if you haven't been paying attention to the Women's College World Series, you are in luck because Game 1 of the championship series between Florida State and Oklahoma is just getting underway. And what a historic run it's been for both contenders. Both teams battled back after losses in the first round to win 4 games in a row and secure a trip to the championship series. The Cinderella story of this year's College World Series, though, had to be James Madison University. The unranked Dukes ultimately lost to Oklahoma in the semifinals, but not before becoming the first ever unranked team to reach the semifinals. And the hero of the Dukes was undoubtedly senior pitcher Odyssey Alexander, who threw for more than 1,000 pitches, 66 strikeouts, and had this incredible tag out to send her team to the semis. She received a standing ovation when she left the game on Monday, from both JMU fans and Sooner fans. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price is officially the fastest woman alive, clocking the fastest 100-meter sprint since Florence Joyner did it 33 years ago. On Saturday, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist recorded a 10.63 100-meter sprint. That's the 4th best time in history. It was actually FloJo who holds the other 3 times. At 34 years old, Fraser-Price enters the Olympic summer looking to become the first woman to win one Olympic track and field event 3 times. Incredible. 10.63. How fast is yours, James?
Here to give us the highlights is News 8's Jillian Mahan, joining us live from TPC Deer Run. Jillian?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, you know, that rain may be moving in, but you wouldn't know it just by listening to what's going on outside of our tent here. I can hear all of the grounds crews out on the greens, taking care of everything, getting it ready for play today. So we will see if there are delays this morning with some of our first tee times, and we'll show you what some of those first pairings are going to be in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's take a look at our leaderboard after round 1. So far, at the top of the board is Sebastian Munoz taking the lead. He is tied for the round 1 leader with Chesson Hadley, both sitting at 8 under par. Things can change drastically between round 1 and round 2. It is cut day. We don't know what that cut will be just yet, as Angie said, so we're going to keep an eye on all of these throughout the day, and of course we'll have those updates for you coming up on the 19th hole later tonight. Cotter and her attorney confirmed for us today that they will be pursuing all legal avenues to overturn Tuesday's termination vote, citing a conflict of interest for one of the voting councilmen. Now, according to Cotter's attorney, Eldridge Councilman Brian Dockery should have recused himself from the vote on Tuesday night, as he was specifically named in a gender discrimination complaint filed by Cotter back in August. Now, had Councilman Dockery recused himself, the vote would have been tied at 2-2, meaning the termination would not have passed. Now, this all began back in August when a city employee filed a sexual harassment complaint against Cotter. She was placed on paid administrative leave while the city hired an attorney to investigate the claim. While that investigation was underway, Cotter filed a gender discrimination complaint against 3 prominent city managers, including Councilman Dockery, who voted to terminate her. On Tuesday night, the council reviewed a report that investigated both complaints. Ultimately, there was no evidence of sexual harassment or gender discrimination, but the report determined Cotter did create a hostile work environment and recommended her separation from the city employment. How do you respond to the new allegations that it was a hostile work environment created during your tenure as city administrator?
Do you want me to answer? Just saying it's out of the scope.
Out of the scope.
So when the city council hired Ms. Snyder, there was a claim of sexual harassment. Ms. Snyder expanded that on her own without council approval to
look at other things. And so we would argue that that was outside of the scope of her position and usurped the power of the city council. Now, Cotter's attorney says he has not yet determined whether they will file a lawsuit against the city of Eldridge, Councilman Dockery, or both parties. But he did say they will be working with an Iowa judge to enforce the conflict of interest issues. Jim?
All right.